All right.
All right.
Julie, you have the floor.
Thank you. And thank you for reviewing my application letter. I am very excited to be here tonight. I'd like to start this statement where my application letter left off. In the closing of my letter, I referenced Teddy Roosevelt's 1910 speech about being in the arena. My more modern-day sports analogy of his words are this: Monday morning quarterbacks can go pound sand. It's actually suiting up, getting on the field, taking the bruises and hard hits, and giving your all, making big plays when it matters. Doing so can give you the honor of victory. It can also result in coming up short and experiencing failure. But if you fail, at least you failed by daring to try. I do not know how tonight will end, but I do know that everyone in this room is on the field, everyone. We are all participating, and I thank you all for suiting up. While my efforts are not on the Arrowhead athletic fields, thank God, I do want to highlight my efforts in the community. In addition to the 13 seasons of sports that I have coached for AMSAC, Lake Country Youth Softball, and the Arrowhead Junior Warhawks volleyball program, I have been actively seeking out opportunities to better my community and my school since moving here in 2011. I have been regularly involved in my daughter's classrooms as a volunteer. Doing math and science centers at Swallow from kindergarten to 3rd grade with my daughters has been probably the best experience I've ever had with my children. It also gave me a viewpoint into elementary learning in action. As my daughters got a bit older, I sought other opportunities to serve the Swallow community writ large. For 5 years, I have run Swallow School's book fair. This event is held twice per year, and as a result of organizing the fair's logistics, financials, and volunteers, Swallow has earned an average of $1,800 worth of books per fair to fill the classroom and school libraries. I'm very proud to have been a part of that and continue to be. I have also been involved in Swallow Education Foundation. From 2016 to 2018, I served in an officer's role as treasurer. During that time, I accounted for and managed an average of $70,000 per fiscal year in donations. I have, for the last 7 years, been a vocal participant in Swallow community conversations that are held on an annual basis. The most recent of which, I work to collaborate with other school members and members of our community to work with the board on creative strategies to curb a 6-figure budget shortfall. Swallow School Board members know me as a frequent attendee of and participant in our board meetings. Lastly, I've always been a huge supporter of Swallow's fundraising events, going to Culver's, Enters, Noodles, whatever, all of those special fundraising nights, running the 5K with my daughters, giving my best at the Swallow Trivia fundraiser, and attending annual fundraisers for the school. And here we are today. My first of 3 daughters finished her first year at Arrowhead in June. I have attended several and spoke at 3 board meetings during the year. My involvement at Arrowhead to date has been more limited than I'd like, due large in part to the environment that we are in. But when Bob Roche retired, I will tell you that I looked daily for that vacancy announcement, because I knew in my heart that is what I wanted to do next to serve our community. I contacted friends, former board members, not from here, teachers, and did my own research on how to best position myself for applying, interviewing, and taking on that role. I truly want to work with all 8 of you to make us one Arrowhead again. I feel like our community is hurt. I want to unify our community. I want to find common ground. I want to collaborate, and I want to serve. If selected, you will get a person who truly cares about the Arrowhead community. A person who prides herself on her integrity and character. A person who will say, I don't know, when I don't know. A person who will say, I want to help. A person with an opinion on just about everything. But I will stop on a dime to hear anybody out who wants to be heard, and I will actively listen. Because you know what? I'm not always right. To close, you will get an advocate for the Arrowhead Way, a steward for the taxpayer, and a mother who wants nothing but the best for her children and the village that helps raise them. Thank you.
Thank you.
you take me to my next thing?
No, I think you're gonna have
You're
questions.
staying right.
Oh, no, oh, so I had the whole thing right away?
You get the whole thing.
Oh, this is, I thought it was back and forth, this is
No,
sweet.
we're good.
Oh, God, I got picked first, okay.
We're on a roll now.
Okay,
You're not getting that much exercise.
okay.
So we have 5 questions for you.
Okay.
I think there might be one other one additional, but
Okay, sure.
The Arrowhead Board, school board is a team of 9, okay, as I explained earlier. We all must work together to do our job, okay? What positive traits do you possess in order to be a part of the team?
Well, I have shared with you in my application letter, my years of experience in the federal government, where I've had to work with political appointees, senior executives, lower graded employees, and doing so is not an easy task. Believe me, having had to go to Washington, and I used to travel quite a bit for work, and Washington gives you a thick skin very quickly. But what it taught me is how much I need to listen to others and not be stuck on my own opinion. I do feel like our community is divided right now. And I want to work with everybody to find common ground. I think, when I think of the knowledge, skills, and abilities that would be required for this position, I think that I bring skill of actively listening to others. I think I have the ability to step away from my own viewpoint on things and hear what other people have to say, understand where they're coming from, and see how I can make the best decision for our stakeholders and our taxpayers, because that's ultimately what we need to do.
Okay, thank you. And I think to some extent you asked this a little bit, but what efforts have you taken to get to know or be involved with Arrowhead High School?
Well, I will be very honest in that we were only first-year students here this year, and my involvement prior to that was slim to none, other than my children being involved in the camps. They love the sporting camps here. They are very well run. COVID was a tough year, and I was not very actively involved with much at Arrowhead because Arrowhead was essentially shut down. I would like to change that, and that is also why I wanted to show the board all that I've done at Swallow. I have been very actively involved. Any opportunity to put myself out there, I've done so. Even when asked, and I didn't particularly want to, I'd agree to do it because it's for our kids and for our school.
Thank you. Name one positive aspect that stands out in your mind about Arrowhead High School and one aspect that you feel could be improved.
And I'm going to use precisely what I said in my application letter. The strength, when I look at the numbers in the On Point publication, they are phenomenal. But they would never, ever be that good without our human resources, particularly our teachers and instructional staff. Also, the staff that keeps the school running every day, which is everybody from maintenance crews to cleaning staff to administration. Our strength is our human resources. Every organization needs to see that. And it's clear to me that our performance metrics are driven by how wonderful our staff is. In terms of improvement, I do think communication needs to be better. I think there may be a break of trust, if you will, with everything going on between misinformation, bad information, good information, everyone thinking they have the right information. It would be good to get minds together in a room, perhaps conduct focus groups. In talking to another member of the community about this interview, I had asked if Arrowhead had done surveys recently, because in my time here I've not received one. I would like to get a pulse on what the community thinks on certain hot topics. I also would like to get a pulse on how teachers are feeling about topics that are hot at these meetings, but also how they're perceiving their situation of employment. Do you like working here at Arrowhead? What do you like about it? Because if we don't treat our staff well, That's our bread and butter, and we want to make sure they're happy. So I'd like to see some more two-way communication by getting that type of data through use of surveys or focus groups.
Okay, thank you. What do you see as the role of the school board and as well as the role of an individual school board member?
I see them, that's a very good question, I like that one. I see an individual school board member representing the district, taxpayers, and stakeholders. I see the board having that same role. The role of the bigger board and the individual is to all work together, not infight, seek common ground, hear each other out. I'm okay with having a different opinion than some of you. I'm also okay if you have a different opinion than me on certain issues. But if we can sit together, talk, work it out, hear opinions without the chatter necessarily, and start to heal as a community to get Arrowhead back to one Arrowhead. I like to use that term. I've used it often in organizations. I've worked in the government. One of my bosses actually introduced it to me. We are not individual silos in an organization. We all must work together to create the end product.
Thank you. That actually ends our planned questions.
Okay.
Amy, I believe you had a question you wanted to ask.
Yeah.
Julie?
Thanks again for coming.
Yes, thank you for having me.
I just have this question. It has been almost a decade since Act 10 came into fruition. These days, there seems to be some conversation and desire by certain groups to return to pre-Act 10 days in regards to collective base wage bargaining, etc. Lest we forget, Act 10 was established to address budget shortfalls and to assist school districts in controlling budgets and allowing school boards to focus on what the boards feel is most important. What is your opinion on the Act 10 impact to schools today, and should Act 10 itself be reevaluated going forward?
Thank you. Well, I'll tell you, money doesn't grow on trees, and I think that's the reason for Act 10. Unless you work for the feds, because they always say we print the money.
They do.
Yes, they do. Which is why our deficit is as high as it is. Act 10 is a 10-year-old piece of legislation. I do think it'd be worthwhile to review it, but I am a big supporter of what it did for our schools in terms of solving budgetary issues. The more tools we can have in our toolkit, the better off we can be when considering options to deal with financial issues in our schools. So I do think it did that, and like I said, I will tell you when I don't know something. I don't know everything that Arrowhead did with regard to Act 10. I do know that you entered into a co-op for health insurance with the other feeder schools, which I think significantly helped with some budget issues. And so was that a positive? Absolutely. Would I like to start using other tenets of Act 10 to address budget shortfalls? I'd like to consider them, absolutely. Is it the only tool in my toolkit? No, because I think all options should be considered. I like your question about should it be reevaluated. I do think all things should be evaluated and reevaluated at different points in time. And what I found fascinating was that the revenue and taxing limits that were addressed in On Point haven't been reviewed since 1993. So that, if we're going to review anything, maybe we could go there. But that's up to the state, is it not? But with Act 10, I think it's a tool. I'd love to consider using it in future decisions. I'm familiar with it. As for the review, I think it's good to review any policy at any point in time.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Do any of the other board members have a question that they would like to ask Julie? I'd like to remind you that whatever you ask Julie, you need to also ask Connie. For all fairness. Greg, did you have?
No, it wouldn't be that criteria, so I'd rather not.
Oh, okay.
I have a question.
Yeah, Tim?
As you look forward to serving on our board and you reflect on your past experiences, what experience in your life do you think most closely would resemble your role as a sitting school board member?
That's a good question. I'd have to say, I'm going to be very honest, I don't think I've ever been in a role that would resemble what this is like. However, I have worked in very, not that it's going to be difficult, but you deal with difficult issues. I've worked, regularly with difficult issues in my day job. There's a lot going on the federal level with new administration coming in and having to implement new policies. So with that, I'm very good with dealing with change and having to be up to snuff on new issues that come up, because I think that is very important. Being on the board, knowing what hot issues you need to face, what budgetary issues you need to face. So I'm going to be honest and say I've not done it before, but I'm definitely willing, and I think I have experience as a careerist being able to have a positive impact on this board.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Well, Julie, thank you very much.
I want to thank you all as well. Thank you very much.
We'll call you back once,
Okay. All right,
once
thank
we're done with the
you.
other candidate.
Okay,
Thank
sounds
you.
good.
You buy an ice cream later? You have a budget for it.
Welcome back, Connie.
Thank you.
Please take the hot seat. Actually, that's not the one that warmed up, so it's not.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. I'd like to afford you the opportunity to address the board for approximately 5 minutes with anything you would like us to know about you or whatever we would like to talk about.
Okay. Would you like for me to do it sitting here, or you want me to stand?
Oh, you can sit there, that's fine.
Okay.
We're very informal.
All right. Hi, I'm Connie Van Gilder. I am submitting my name for Arrowhead District School Board. The times we are in as a community make me an excellent candidate, because I will listen, consider the sides of an issue with a level head and common sense. Forefront in my decision making will be my own character and values, and the values of the entire Arrowhead community. Having raised 6 kids, I am neither easily intimidated nor am I a steamroller. I have learned to be diplomatic and fairly patient, and to stand for my convictions under pressure once I have made up my mind. Along the way, I have learned a thing or two about pulling together as one team. When my youngest child graduates, I will have had 19 years continuous relationship with Arrowhead. For 24 years, I have actively supported my children's schools, where I have helped plan and build a new library, helped set strategic goals and long-term plans, helped hire new teachers and principals, helped evaluate curricula, and created a comprehensive GT program. I also supported the band program, helped coach math meet, helped start math counts at Swallow, hosted math meet, and consistently served where I saw the greatest need. I am not a single issue candidate, nor a politically motivated one. I know school board is more than that. I believe Arrowhead is an excellent school district and has improved over the last several years. Thank you for that. My family has enjoyed the multitude of benefits Arrowhead has offered us for many, many years. Now I am ready to give back and do all the work that the district needs me to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Connie. So we have about 5 questions for you, 6 questions, whatever. Same questions that were asked of Julie. Okay. So the Arrowhead School Board is a team of 9, as I explained earlier. And we always work together to do our job. All right? What positive traits do you possess in order to be a part of this team?
I believe that I have good judgment. I'm a good listener. I try to understand where people are coming from and why they believe the things that they believe. I don't automatically take a contrary position. And among my peers and people that I know, I'm often a person that people go to for advice, which is one of the reasons I've done a lot of things in the schools. So I believe I have good judgment, but I also believe other people have good judgment as well. I'm willing to make decisions and stick by my convictions when I believe that I'm right and when there's a decision to be made. I try to weigh the sides and I do try to be a good teammate, and I do stand by my convictions.
Thank you. What efforts have you taken to get to know or be involved with Arrowhead High School?
Well, I've been around for a long time. I've gotten to know quite a few of the teachers, have, through my children, done a lot of extracurriculars and things like that. I try to support the mostly extracurriculars that they're involved in. I have come to some of the board meetings. I've addressed the board in the past. So that's probably about it.
Thank you. Name one positive aspect that stands out in your mind about Arrowhead High School and one aspect you feel should be improved.
So the best thing I think about Arrowhead is its people. The students and the teachers that I've gotten to know are amazing people. There's a good staff. And the parents are great. I think the best thing is the way that people come together and create opportunities for each other. I've seen, heroic teachers and coaches, and so I've been very impressed with the people. I think that's the best. On the negative side, I think Arrowhead needs to work on transparency and trust in the community. I think the communication should be, I don't want to come in and say, I know how to fix that. But I think the community needs to understand how Arrowhead arrives at the decisions they arrive at, and that they are using the best information and have the best intentions of the community at heart when those decisions are made. So I think that's something that could be improved is transparency and trust.
Thank you very much. What do you see the role of the school board to be and the role as an individual board member?
Well, I think, one of the obvious things is representing the community, representing the people who voted for you. I mean, they voted for you for a reason. I think that's important to be community-facing. I think, having said that, there are decisions that need to be made in the group that are not always easy ones and not always popular ones. You have to have information sometimes that not everybody has. So that's a thing, but I think there's a lot more involved in being on the school board, where you have teachers and staff you have to consider, people you have to hire, you've got curricula that you have to review and choose the best one. making goals and strategies. I think those are also sort of behind the scenes things that not everybody always sees. So those are things I've actually done for schools in the past. I think I'm pretty good at it, which is actually the main reason I'm here, even though things are so crazy at this time. Because I do think I'm good at those things. I've done them for the schools that I've been in, and I kind of like it. I'd like to do it some more. So.
Great, thank you. Amy, you have a question?
Yep. Thanks for coming. It has been almost a decade since Act 10 came into fruition. These days, there seems to be some conversation and desire by certain groups to return to pre-Act 10 days in regards to collective base wage bargaining, etc. Lest we forget, Act 10 was established to address budget shortfalls and to assist school districts in controlling budgets and allowing school boards to focus on what the board feels is most important. What is your opinion on the Act 10 impact to schools today, and should Act 10 itself be reevaluated going forward?
Ooh. I have to admit, I remember when Act 10 was enacted, and I know that the reaction, among some of the teachers was pretty strong. I can't really speak thoughtfully to that because I don't know enough about it. I do believe people should have the choice of, if they want to join a union or not. I think the choice should be that they don't have to. And I have to answer you later. I really don't know enough about it to be intelligent in my answer. Sorry. Thank you.
Thank you. And Tim, you have a question?
So as you look forward to joining our board, can you reflect back on your life and imagine a situation or an experience you've had that you think would be most similar to serving on the Arrowhead School Board?
Well, the most similar probably is I was in student council in high school. It's been forever ago, but the rules and procedures are pretty similar. I think some of the things I've done more recently probably kind of lean me toward that, with some of the strategic plans that I was privileged to work with, helping select curricula. I feel like that is something that we were able to review the information and weigh in. Not one person said, I'm doing this, or we need to all do this, but it was, people weighed in. Does that answer your question?
I think it does. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. We are going to deliberate, and Kate will escort you back to the outer sanctions there, and then we'll call you back in.
We can go this way.